Welcome to It's a Grand Life, where our mission is to be a voice for grand families and kinship caregivers everywhere. Did you know that in the United States alone, there are 2.3 million grandparents raising their grandchildren? 2.3 million. It's a Grand Life is committed to making a difference for those kids. That's why we have the podcast, a Facebook group, and the Grand Fund. The Grand Fund, which is a 501c3 which was launched in June of 2024, provides financial assistance to grand families, including shelter, food, clothing, and household needs. Grand families are in every neighborhood, in every city, every tribe and territory nationwide. If this is you or someone you love, we're here for you. And we welcome you to join us on this mission. Our goal is to offer hope and resources to help you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. You can also join our Facebook group. Just search for it under It's a Grand Life. And your reviews, comments, and sharing of our podcasts help us reach others that need assistance. Welcome to another episode of It's a Grand Life. Hi, my name is Craig Nash. We'd like to welcome you to another It's a Grand Life. And you are going to be blessed today. We've got two ladies that specialize in the treatment of foster care kids. They have a program that is getting phenomenal results, and it's in Michigan, but it came from Oregon, and we're going to hear all about it. Our guests today are Leah Thomas. She's the coordinator of the Treatment Foster Care of Oregon, as well as Colleen Madsen, who's the parent recruiter. We're going to find out all about why do you need to recruit parents and all those things. But ladies, thank you so much for joining us here on It's a Grand Life, and we're delighted to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to talk about the program.
So let's get into it. What is, you call it TFCO, that's your little acronym for it, but what is the Treatment Foster Care Oregon program?
Well, TFCO here for us at the Guidance Center is a program where we service kids who are age 7 to 11, and we provide full support to those youth and their families. The youth that we work with are kids who do have some challenges, some behavioral challenges, and we're working with families that are struggling. They may have other things going on. They may have other youth in the home that are a bit challenging in addition to the youth that they're wanting to put in our program. With TFCO, we place youth within that age range, 7 to 11, in one of our therapeutic homes for 6 to 9 months. During that time, we're providing that youth with individual therapy, supporting them in learning skills, and supporting them in learning all of the things that they kind of need to better manage their emotions. We also provide them with a skills coach who's working with them every week for 2 hours. They're helping those kids practice those skills, taking them into the community, doing some wonderful work to help the child feel more comfortable, using more positive coping skills and building relationships with peers. And then at the same time, while the youth is in the program, we are also working with their family. Our family therapist is meeting with their family weekly. They are supporting the family in gaining skills and managing their youth, addressing whatever other issues might be impacting things for the kids in the household, creating stressors for those parents, and supporting them as they have visits with their child in kind of rebuilding some of the challenges that have existed in that relationship.
So it's really a two-pronged approach, right? You're dealing with the existing family. You're trying to help them get their skill set up to par, and yet you're placing the young person, young man or lady, in another family for 6 to 9 months, where they get all sorts of new skills and what have you. And this is a model that came from the other side of the country in Oregon, but you have specific criteria. So you got to be 7 to 11. You can't be 18 in the program, and you're only there 6 to 9 months, not 6 years. And how did they come up with these criteria to design this program?
Well, it is an evidence-based model. So they really, there are other models. Our model is called the C model. Childhood model, that's the 7 to 11 range. They do have an adolescent model that's not currently being utilized here in Michigan, and that would be 12 through 18. And they've also done trials with a younger model dealing with the younger kiddos. I believe that's 4 to 6. So, but it is evidence-based. And so they've learned in all of the trials that they've kind of done in all of the places implementing the model that 6 to 9 month time frame is typically what is needed for children to really be successful and for families to be successful in really grasping the concepts that are being taught and utilizing them on a more consistent basis.
And that evidence base is so important, right? It's not, we just sat around in Lincoln Park and came up with our own program and here it is, have at it. No, this has been tried and true in other parts of the country, and it really works. And it's the exciting thing. Sometimes the foster care system gets a bad name, but not the treatment foster care program that you guys are brought to us from Oregon. You've got evidence-based models that generate wonderful success, and so if you were speaking to parents and potential 7 to 11-year-olds out here in Southeast Michigan, how would you recruit them? Maybe this is a question for Colleen. How would you recruit them into your program? I mean, what do you say to them? Hey, this is so this program is really designed for you. How do you get folks like that involved?
Yeah, for the parents or the family members of the kids that are 7 to 11 that might need this program, we really just point to the evidence and point to the statistics of how well this works for the kids. It can be a really difficult decision to place a child into another home. This is a totally voluntary program, so there's no judge coming in and saying that the child needs to be removed from the home. This is the guardian of the child saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm not sure what to do at this point. I've tried other things. So maybe they've tried home-based therapy. They might have even tried some sort of hospitalization, and they aren't getting the results that they're looking for. And we're offering them an alternative to keeping their child out of a group home or a residential placement. And we're saying, let's keep them in the community. Let's keep them connected to you. Let's build up your skills and your child's skills and get them back into your home long-term after this short program.
That makes so much sense. So, so what type of patient are you guys looking for? And when you try to recruit patients for the program too?
So what type of youth? We're looking for a youth, again, within that age range of 7 to 11, a child who they may have experienced some level of trauma within their home. They may or may not be living with their biological parents, depending on what that child's history has been. Typically, our kids are lacking skills in building positive peer relationships. So maybe they don't have many friends, or the friends that they do have, they're not really engaged in pro-social behavior. They're doing things in the community that are getting them in trouble. They are having disruptions at school. They're really struggling to be able to be successful. Typically, we find these kiddos they have lower self-esteem. They don't really believe that they can do well. They've kind of, been beaten up on a little bit in the sense that they're not making great choices and they don't really know how. And so those are the kids that we really look at because we want to build up that self-esteem. We want to pour into them and give them the skills that they're going to need to be successful. I'm so sorry. I thought that was cool.
So, what type of evidence? I know you talk about evidence-based therapies and what have you that you're working on. What does the evidence look like? I mean, if I was a parent looking at the program, why would I be really excited about the TFCO program? I just threw that acronym in there.
That was good. I think that the parents, what I've learned from when I start talking to folks who are considering TFCO, they are feeling like they have nowhere else to turn. They are at a point where they are completely stressed. They are feeling like they have no other options. They don't know what to do, and they don't feel like they can best support their child. So I think oftentimes they feel relieved to know that there is something out there where their child will still be in a home environment. They're not going to be in a hospital. They're not going to be in a residential. They're still going to be the guardian. So they will still be able to know exactly what's happening with their youth. They're still going to be talking to their youth. They will have scheduled visits with their youth, and they have 24/7 access to us while their child is in the program. So they're getting updates on those first couple of nights, especially. I'm letting the parents know, how did their evening go? What did they have for dinner? How were they doing? Were they tearful? Were they saying that they were missing their family? So I think that gives them another level of comfort to know that it's not just their child is going away from them and they're not involved they are extremely involved in this process. And I explain that to the parents, like, this is not just about your child. This is a family program. Your involvement is just as important as your child living in that treatment home. We need you to constantly be involved, understanding what's going on and working with us, with the team, so that we're moving you guys in the right direction.
And do they interact with the therapists and other folks that are involved with their young person?
They interact with the family therapist typically. They do not have that much contact with the therapeutic home outside of when they're calling to speak with their child for their phone calls, whether they're once or twice a week.
Okay.
But typically, most of the family's contact is with the family therapist and then with the team lead, who would be myself.
Okay. And but as far as 2 calls a week and the other protocols that have made this program so successful, you have all that down. So when you sit down with the parent, now we're going to talk twice a week. That may seem like it's not enough, but here's why, right? We
do, and we tailor it to every family. I think that's one of the things that's really, really great about the TFCO program.
Yep.
Is that everybody's treatment looks a little different, right? So what works best for this youth may need to look a little different for another youth and for another family. We try and support the parents in being able to feel comfortable, but also knowing that some of that uncomfortability is something that we're working through, right? Perhaps that anxiety that parent has, we need to help them create some better skills with that because their child is doing well, right? And so we help them to be able to process that and manage as well.
And what's so important also, you're not only helping the young person make the appropriate adjustments, but you're helping the parents become better parents, have better skills. And oftentimes we parents are left out of the loop. And it's not all the young person's issue. It's the whole environment that you're addressing and everything else. And I know, Colleen, you end up doing a lot of recruiting of parents. There's a whole other side to your organization. Yes, we're going to provide these wonderful therapies, and Leah's going to make sure everything's going according to plan. But you're actually recruiting networks of parents, right, to open up their homes and they're trained on how to be treatment facilities as well. And as the young folks are out of the house and in your program, what's it like and what are you looking for in those parents, and how's it going with the recruiting?
Oh yeah, this is a great program, but it would not work if we didn't have any therapeutic parents that would take the children in. So it's a really huge part of the program and of my job to find people that could potentially take in one of these kids that between the ages of 7 to 11 for that 6 to 9 months, and really provide them a safe environment and a structured environment while we work with the child and their family. We are really looking for families that could be flexible, that could be dedicated to the child, because it will be difficult in the beginning. So really pushing through and being dedicated to helping them for the whole 6 to 9 months. We also really look for parents that are humorous, that can have fun with the situation. These kids can be challenging, but they can also be a blessing and a ton of fun to have in your home. And we are looking for people that take that kind of positive approach and recognize there will be hard times, but the hard times don't outweigh the really fun, positive moments that they can have if they're open to it. We are also really looking for people that are open to learning. We are not just looking for therapists, for social workers, for mental health professionals. We are looking for anybody that's willing to learn how to help these children. This is a really supportive program. We have 24/7 support to our team when a child is in your home. We also, provide in-the-moment training. So if there is some sort of issue, they can call our team, most often Leah, but they could call someone on our team and get kind of a walkthrough of how to handle those difficult situations so that they aren't feeling just left with the child and left to figure things out. They're a big part of the team, so we need to work together to help manage those bigger behaviors.
That's absolutely great. Now, as a parent, do I have to have my bachelor's in psychology to come work for you guys, or my bachelor's in social work, or no?
Definitely not.
Any experience with kids or an interest in wanting to help and support a family, that's really what we look for. Folks who are really invested in wanting to make a difference for a child. All that other stuff would be great, but if you don't have it, it's great too.
That's exactly. Now, can you use grandparents to?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We get a lot of grandparents to listen to our show, and we are professional child rearers. I don't know if you knew that.
I was just gonna say that we prefer grandparents because you are professionals. You've taken kids all the way through, and you know all those stages of development. You kind of know what to pay attention to and how to build them up, and I think that perspective is one that we really would appreciate. So,
that's
definitely.
That is so great. And now you're talking 6 to 9 months. If someone entered into a new home environment in September, would they stay there the whole school year? Do they switch schools?
They do. So the way that I'll say typically, so the way that our model is set up is typically we do enroll a child in the district of the therapeutic home. And most times that is a different district than their home district. So we are enrolling them in this new school, and they are transitioning out of that school back into their home school at the end of the program. And it's minor disruptions because we really do make sure that they have all of the educational supports in their IEP. So whatever school they're transferring back to or from is going to be fully equipped to provide for their needs. But I will say there are situations where it's occurred where sometimes you stay in the same school, and it just depends. It's a case by case. That's why I won't say it's all the time, but typically that's what we look for. But we also speak to the therapeutic parents. I've had parents say to me before, I don't know how great my homeschool is for supporting kids if they have an IEP. Would they be able to stay in their school? I don't mind transporting, and things like that. So we definitely take it as a case by case basis, but typically our initial is to enroll that child in the school district of the therapeutic home.
And right now you are trying to recruit other parents, if I'm not mistaken, to be part of your. How many parents are you looking for now?
As many as we can get. We just want all the parents.
There's no limit, right?
We put no limits on it. I mean, because folks will come in, they start the process, and different things happen. Sometimes folks only want to be engaged as a respite home. They just want to be somebody who can maybe a couple of weekends out of the year provide support to a full-time parent. And so we invite as many homes that would like to do that. And then we have some folks who want to do a full-time placement and then move to respite or vice versa. So we're taking in as many people as we possibly can.
And right
There's
now,
no shortage of kids.
Yeah, that was my next question. There's no shortage of kids, right? You have more kids than you have homes at this point.
Absolutely.
And so that's really important to know. So the Guidance Center and your office is on Outer Drive in Lincoln Park, and that's where you guys are out of. But are you limited to where the kids come from or where the parents can come from? Is it all Southeast Michigan, or what geographic area do you cover?
That's a great question. So all of the children that we service have to live in Wayne County. They have to be receiving services, mental health services through Wayne County, our Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. So that is a requirement for youth. However, for therapeutic homes, they do not have to live in Wayne County. All right. We just ask parents to be at least a minute or maximum, I would say 40 minutes away from our office. But really it's about their comfortability with driving. We have parent meetings weekly. They're meetings where parents can come listen to kind of what's happening with the other youth. We provide resources, support, training during these meetings. And so we want to make sure that parents understand it's an expectation that you feel comfortable at least once a week coming to our office with whatever that travel time is for you. But we try not to go outside of that 40-minute range. It also helps with us being responsive, right? We are on call 24/7. So how close are we to that treatment home that we're able to get there if something is happening and you'd like some physical support in person? We look at that as well.
Well, that's really good to know. So any kid from Wayne County, they must live in Wayne County, but the parents can be outside of Wayne, 40 minutes outside of it. That's quite a range. It gives you a nice area to draw from. And that's so can you, before I let you guys know, can you tell us about what does a success story look like for a child who graduates from the therapeutic foster care program from Oregon? What does that look like?
I mean, I think, success is so interesting for our kiddos because they all come in with very different stories. I can think of a youth who, prior to coming into the program, was having frequent issues at school. Frequently, I would say every other day, this child was having to get picked up from school. They had been taken to the hospital several times to be screened for additional support. And, the family was really at our wits' end, and moving through the process, seeing all of that behavior kind of dissipate, and really that child learning how to build on their own skills, transitioning home and having very minimal. You're going from still having, and this is what I also let families know, we're not saying all behaviors have disappeared, because that's just not real life for anybody and for any child. But, when you're going from every single week, 3 days out of the week, this child is coming home early, to once a month, this child is having a disruption, or twice a month, that's a significant decrease and a success, because it teaches that child that they know they have the skills to do it. And so I think we look at those types of things when we're looking at how extreme were those behaviors prior to, and then we look at how much it has decreased once they have exited the program.
And like Leah said, there's so many ways to measure success. That's a way to measure success in the child. But another way is how the parents are feeling about their skills afterwards. Are they feeling more confident in their abilities to parent their specific child? Are they feeling more comfortable? Are they still feeling like they need to call us every time there's a small issue? Or are they feeling like, I know how to handle this now. I've learned, and I can do this by myself, or I can reach out to a family member to help me in this situation. I don't need professional mental health workers to help me here, because I've learned how I can manage this.
That was a really good point, Colleen, because it makes me think of even seeing the parents post using the skills, right? They're taking the time, they're giving those appropriate directions, they're giving them the break, they're stepping away, like just kind of seeing them do it without any coaching, any intervention. You just kind of see this has become a part of how they're now parenting their child.
So really, in the big picture, your excellent training can not only help mom or dad become better parents for the child in the program, but the rest of the family, right? It benefits. I mean, when my son was in high school, we did some reading on Tuesday nights at Central Detroit Christian, which is right near Herman Kiefer Hospital. And they have a wonderful program for young folks where you try to help them read. I think we were reading second or third graders, but there was one young man in the program, I'll never forget this. He couldn't read as well as his peers, and he would get so upset. It created so much anger. And I'm thinking, man, if I could have got him in the TFCO program and deal with that anger, because you could just see that he was heading on a pathway of conflict, and
he didn't know how to manage those big feelings.
Yeah, whenever we have internal conflict, it leads to external conflict, and just a nice young man, and way too young to be on that trajectory of anger. But I didn't know about the Guidance Center and the TFCO program, but I do now. So part of your role is, I would imagine, is contacting organizations like Central Detroit Christian that work with young people all over Wayne County, and letting them know you're there.
That's a huge part of our program. Leah and I both do it. We are constantly going out, talking to churches, Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs, colleges, other agencies, foster care agencies, community mental health agencies, hospitals, letting people know that our program is here and we are willing to talk to anybody that has questions.
That's absolutely great. And I just want to thank you both for being our guest here on It's a Grand Life. I think we should cross promote what you're doing. And I really would like to connect you to my friends at Central Detroit Christian, because they deal with so many good kids. But there's a couple of folks I'm thinking about. I didn't even know about the Guidance Center and the program you had. And if we could catch these young folks from 7 to 11, and I know that's the thinking behind this, we could put them on the right path for a great future.
Absolutely.
Any parting comments for our audience? You've already told us you love grandparents. That's the magic word here. They're going to love you. If someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, I will say first, thank you so much. We so appreciate you giving us the opportunity to do this. And they could just give us a call here. I would say my phone number is 734-623-3297 is my cell phone, and I always give it out, and it's always there for anybody to reach us. They can also contact Colleen directly, go to our website, or email us as well.
Our email is tfcorecruiting@iamtgc.net.
And when the show comes out, your website and information will be at the bottom of the screen so that everyone will be able to see that. So, and hopefully you could send this to folks if they want to find out more about your program. But Colleen Madsen and Leah Thomas, thank you so much for being our guests here on It's a Grand Life. You are welcome back anytime you have a new update for us on what's working for your kids, because we want what's best for the kids of Wayne County. And so thank you so much for being our guest, and we look forward to seeing you again on It's a Grand Life.
Thank you
so much. You have a good one.
Thank you for joining us today for It's a Grand Life. It's a Grand Life provides vital content, regulatory updates, and subject matter experts that are committed to supporting the 2.4 million kids and their caregivers from every neighborhood, every city, every tribe and territory nationwide. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. Every new subscriber and review helps us reach others that need assistance. As caregivers, we are united in purpose. We are driven by hope while providing strength for today and hope for tomorrow. We are truly making a difference while living the grand life. If you have a suggestion for a future episode, please reach out to us. But we'll see you next time for another It's a Grand Life. Thank you for joining us.